Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is straight out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today I'm here for my NBA 2K14 Association Wishlist. Now, I'm here to represent the Association community, and by that, I mean the people that play Association, the people that, every year their favorite game mode gets underdeveloped, it gets looked past every year, with good reason. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, my career at Blacktop and different game modes in this game are more popular than Association, but I'm here to help represent the community. So if any 2K devs are watching this video, first off, I want to thank you guys for checking this out. I really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone in the community appreciates it. So first of all, I should say, this gameplay is going to be just some gameplay from Friday's Association video between the Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings. So that's the backdrop. Now, this wish list is a combination of my ideas and ideas that I got from the comments section of the last video. So without further ado, let's get it started. The first thing I wrote down is the D-League. Now, this may seem minor to some. I don't know if they lost the license for the D-League or something. I don't know what happened, but the D-League was vital in my opinion. If I had a young player who wasn't going to get any playing time in an NBA roster, I wanted to be able to set him down to the D-League where he can develop. Perfect real-life example of this is Fab Melo. Fab Melo is a very raw player with some potential, but he's not ready to play in the NBA right now. So what do the Celtics do? They send him down to the main red claws, and he develops as if you had almost another year in college, but this time he's getting paid for it, and he's playing against slightly higher skill level. So that is my idea for the NBA D-League. If you have to bring fake teams, you already brought fake players, you know what, that's completely fine. Bring fake whatever, but the ability to have a developmental league, in my opinion, is vital, and it seemed like it was a big issue among the people in the comments. I had that comment, probably half the comments were about the D-League, so I think they definitely need to include that back in. And let's move on to the next one is 10-day contracts. And I'm going to include February buyouts in here. I don't think this was actually talked about in the comments, but this is one. February buyouts are a thing that happened in 2K12, but for some reason we're in 2K13. February buyouts are, for example, Aaron Brooks. He got bought out this year. He's the only big name that I can think of that actually had his contract bought out this year, but it happens every year. I mean, the perfect example is the 2008 Boston Celtics, and I'm going to bring up a lot of Celtics references because for those who do not follow my channel, who are just clicked on this video for the interest in the wish list, I'm a huge Celtics fan, so I'll probably be using a lot of real-life Celtics examples, but the Boston Celtics signed Sam Cassell and P.J. Brown in 2008, the year they did make their run to the finals and win it all. Those two guys played pretty significant roles on that team in the playoffs. P.J. Brown had a lot of minutes in the finals. And, Sam Cassell was a good backup point guard. Kind of fit the role more than Eddie House did on the team. But anyway, I think that February buyouts are huge. And just the idea of signing those type of players in February, I think is huge. The Miami Heat, they signed Chris Anderson. The Knicks signed Kenyon Martin this year. I mean, neither of those guys were buyouts, but that's just an example of teams signing players of that type, around the trade deadline, around the end of February, early March, stuff like that. And 10-day contracts. A lot of these guys are signed with 10-day contracts. 10-day contracts are huge. 10-day contracts are an ability to test out a player for 10 days, and if they don't work out, you don't got to worry about them. But in 2K, we're restricted to signing guys for the rest of the year. And I'd be a big fan of 10-day contracts. That was another one that a lot of people brought up. So I think 10-day contracts would be huge in NBA 2K14. Now, here we're going to get into some different stuff. This one is going to be better player progression. Now, player progression is, in my opinion, pretty broken in this game. It really is solely dependent on potential rating. It's not dependent on how much a guy plays or how well he actually does. In my opinion, and I heard this idea a few times, scrap potential. Get rid of potential. Base player progression off of minutes played and performance. Those are the two things you have to base player progression off, because that's how it works in real life. You know what? When, Kyrie Irving was drafted, I'm sure he probably had like 99 potential. But you know what? If he doesn't play, he's not going to develop. But in 2K, if he doesn't play, he would have developed anyway, because that's just the way 2K works for forever now. So I think you get a scrap potential, base player progression off of playing time and performance with that playing time. Now, the next topic will be the real draft classes. Now, I'm not sure if 2K has the ability to do this. I'm sure they don't have, or actually, I know they don't have the license to use the real names of the players. But if you allow us a real NBA draft class, let's say the 2014 NBA draft, or the 2013 NBA draft class, for example. If you give us Cyberface, Cody Zeller, Cyberface, Mason Plumlee, all those guys, you don't have to give their names. You can do what you did in your old college basketball games, doing number 5, number whatever. you know, that's not a big thing to me. A couple people mentioned, I understand not being able to do that. It is a little bit time consuming, so I don't blame anyone. I don't blame 2K for not doing that. That's not a big thing for me, but it seemed like it was brought up a lot in the comments of my last video, so I will include it in there for the sake of the viewers. If there was a way to do real draft classes, that'd be awesome. If not, in my opinion, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Now moving on, we have the trade system improvement. The trade system is so broken in 2K. Okay, so here's what I think you should do. Expiring contracts should have an extra half-star of value. That right there. Expiring contracts that are maybe over $5 million, an extra half-star immediately. Because expiring contracts are way better to trade for than big 3-year contracts. You know, for an example, it would have been hard to trade Jeff Green at the beginning of this year when he was struggling because of his 4-year, $40 million contract. If he was on a 1-year deal, it might have been a little bit easier to trade for him if a team was looking for him or something, and if he was on the open market. But you know what? Because of that 4-year, $40 million contract, it's really hard to trade for him, which means maybe 2-year and 3-year contracts, alright, keep the same trade value, 4-year, 5-year contracts, lessen it by a half star to a full star or something like that. And I don't know how you can improve it, but it is really easy to just make a bunch of unrealistic moves and trade. You know, Danilo Gallinari, for example, is always on the trade market, which is not realistic in any sense or in any way, shape, or form, I should say. You know, the Nuggets are going to trade Danilo Gallinari. I don't know what the idea of it is. You know, it's just kind of stupid in my opinion. If they could fix, if they could fix the trade system in ways that I didn't mention when I was talking about the whole expiring contract versus big contract things, or not things, but you guys know what I mean. If there was another way to fix it, that'd be great. We would appreciate it. You know, I mean, in my opinion, 2K's trade system is great. The trade finder is one of my favorite parts of 2K, any 2K game. So, yeah, at least any 2K sports game. So, anyway, you know, if there's another way to improve it in the sense of just making it a little bit more realistic, that's always, you know, obliged. I think everyone wants more realism in Association. And if you don't, well, bye. Anyway, so we're going to move on to, this kind of goes along with it, stop scripting everything, okay? In the last couple of 2Ks, Chris Paul always goes to the Cavs, Andre Iguodala always goes to the Hornets, Dwight Howard either goes to the Pistons or, you know, I've seen him re-sign with the Magic. Do any of these moves sound like they would actually happen? Come on. Would Chris Paul really leave the Clippers and go play for the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he would turn their best player, Kyrie Irving, to a sixth man? Would that ever happen? Just ask yourself that. And I think the thing that aggravates most people about this is the fact that it happens in every association, not just one person, two person, three persons. It always happens. I think that's the most aggravating part of it. If they could stop scripting everything, that'd be great. I realize that not every team has cap space to sign guys like Chris Paul and Dwight Howard, but you know what? There's got to be a way to fix that, because it doesn't happen in other games. Now, the next thing is going to be ability to trade injured players. This is pretty minor, but for example, Rajon Rondo was a guy who tore his ACL this year. He was on the trade market. You can trade injured players in real life. You know, I don't get the point of not being able to. Andrew Bogut was traded last year for Monte Ellis in the Monte Ellis trade when he was injured. You can trade injured players in real life. I don't see why you can't in 2K. The next thing is going to be ability to relocate the team. For example, the Sacramento Kings will likely be moving to Seattle next year. And, you know, I'm not saying this is a guaranteed, because I don't know what the whole thing is with if they're going to finalize that deal yet or not, but it's an example of a team potentially moving to a new location. It'd be great if you could do that in 2K. Yeah, I think everyone would appreciate that. It's a minor thing, but I think it'd go a big way. You do it in Madden, so there's obviously a way to do it in a video game. Ability to retire numbers, you know, I didn't really think of this one, but it had like 7 thumbs up, the comment did, that had this. So if you could retire numbers, that'd be sweet. You know, I think that's another minor thing. Develop signature skills. This is big. Players need to be able to develop signature skills. If we're going to make signature skills such an important part of the game, I mean, you know, someone finishes. Look at, I mean, Eric Bledsoe's a perfect example. He's a guy who finishes around the rim very nicely because he has the finisher's signature skill. So if you can't just put this thing in the game and not let young players develop them. You have to be able to let players develop them, or maybe use training points the thing that, you use in the off season or whatever for your off season, drills. You use those to buy signature skills for your players. Do something with it. You need to be able to apply signature skills without going in the game and editing them. That's my opinion. That's a lot of people's opinion. That's vital in my opinion. That's one of the top 3 things I'd say that need to be an NBA 2K14 association. Work on potential. I mentioned this a little bit. Player progression. It's just a little bit broken right now, and I think that, in my opinion, do away with potential. Do it, Madden. Do away with it. Now, a few last things. This was mentioned by a guy named Dycliffe, who's seems like, I think he has an association going on at his channel, and a lot of people agreed with what he said. He said, I feel when you have injuries on that they occur a little bit too often. Maybe they could add a meter for injury occurrences and injury seriousness. I agree, injuries do happen way too often when you simulate, and especially serious ones. I think there should be a meter or something. I don't think, as much as it happens in real life, I don't think anyone wants their star player to tear their ACL and end up being out for the season. So, you know what? If there'd be, I agree. I think there should be a meter. I think it'd be great. Have the ability to skip the opening of the NBA draft, please, 2K. No one wants to see that again. And he said cutscenes for signing and re-signing players. NBA Live 2004 had this, and he thought it was cool. I didn't play NBA Live 2004, so I don't know, but apparently it must have been pretty cool because it got a lot of thumbs up. So anyway, that's pretty much all that it was repeated a lot that I agreed with, stuff like that. There were other ideas, but like I said, not many people agreed with them. I didn't personally think they were a big deal, so those are kind of I'd probably list the 10 to 15 things that I think are the biggest problems with association. I think that those are things that they can put in 2K14. And a lot of association fans would be happy. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy. And so I'm out. Peace.